Maybe he forgot.
Nam mô Tát Đắc Tha Tu Ya Đa Ya La Ha De Tam Yo Tam Bồ Đà Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. 无上甚深微妙法，百千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Venerable Qingliang, Venerable Shenhua, Venerable Left-Home people, and all good knowing advisors, Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、精良大士、师父上人、各位出家人、各位上知识，阿弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa Thanh Lương Đại sư, thầy Tiến Hóa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Okay, hello everyone. Today is the 22nd of October. We gather to continue discussing the prologue of the prologue to the Avatamsaka Sutra written by Master Qingliang. We're nearing the end of door number 1 on slide 338. Okay, let's jump right into it. Moreover, cultivation involving doing after many kalpas eventually decays. Without mind, comprehension is the ultimate, and in a single thought, one then tallies with the family of the Buddha.
良以有作之修，多劫终成败坏，无心体极，一念便弃佛家。
Okay, so the great master says cultivation involving doing. Doing here refers to conditioned practices. Conditioned practices meaning that your practice is based on, has dependencies. For example, what can you think of a practice that has dependencies? For example, let's say you meditate, okay? And you meditate and you need to listen to meditation music. Anyone? Anyone ever try that? It's very soothing and relaxing. Okay? Especially, I try the ones with the sound of the waves, ocean waves rushing to shores. Extremely calming and relaxing. Okay? So, very popular practice. Nowadays, you find these apps where they have these types of practices. They are called conditioned because they invent these things. So they create these practices that are very, very popular, and so that's a lot of people are hooked on that. Those are called conditioned practices because they depend on externals. Meditation, for example, is a practice to refine your mind, to remove the mind of its attachments, its dependencies. So what are you doing meditating, attaching your mind to the sound of the waves, or the sound, or some kind of external things? Okay, that's totally wrong. Okay, and will lead you into trouble, actually. Wei Mount has a question.
Master, what if we listen to the tape of Masters and Venerable Shenhua or the recitation? Their recitation, would it be helping?
Good question. That's a temporary thing. Again, it's a conditioned thing as well, because you're depending on the sound of Master Shenhua or some kind of recording. That's also a conditioned practice. But actually, it's a better one, because while it is a dependency on the sound of the tape, but actually at the same time, it generates very profound blessings and profound seeds of wisdom in you. So in general, I would find that acceptable, but eventually when you get to higher levels, we'll tell you to get rid of those things as well. All right? So initially, it's okay, perfectly okay for you to do that. Yes. So it's a good question. I appreciate the question, because that's why you should consult with someone who has experience teaching meditation and have produced students or trainees who have reached high levels, so that you don't get into these stumbling blocks. Okay? For example, if you attach to these conditioned practices, such as, let's say, excuse me, I'm going to offend some people tonight. Why not? It's Friday night. Is it okay, or shall we skip this offensive things? Okay. For example, let's say you practice. That's not use the actual thing. Let's say you practice Qigong. Okay. Qigong involves a manipulation of the qi, make it flow throughout your body. So what happens is that, why is it a conditioned practice? Anyone? Why is it a conditioned practice? It's a conditioned practice because you are dependent upon this notion of a qi. Okay, the qi. Because when you practice Qigong, you see the qi. You move the qi throughout your body. You can see the qi moving. So what happened is that now you attach the concept of qi movement. So that's called conditioned practice, because it depends on this qi, this model of a qi moving in your body. That dependency will lead you to trouble eventually. Is that clear? So that's why it is perfectly okay for you to practice Qigong after you no longer are attached to these conditioned practices. Okay? It's just like you learn it for the sake of studying or researching the qi and get more information about it. But knowing that your mind will not become attached to these qi, concept of qi, or depend on your qi for your practice. Okay? So that's why initially we don't recommend you practice using these external props, whether it's the qi or music or tape or images and so forth, because they tend to cause attachments in your mind, dependencies in your mind. It's best to follow the Buddhist practices until you develop some wisdom. Once you have wisdom, you no longer attach to these worldly concepts anymore, and then you can learn anything you want. Does it make sense? Okay, and that's why in the Buddhist training we have these specific processes where we avoid these pitfalls, where eventually the deeper you get into these conditioned practices, the more difficult it is for you to extricate and remove those attachments. All right? So that's why the Master says, if you cultivation involves doing here refers to the mind actually conceiving of Okay, the mind thinking about things. So, for example, when you do qigong, the mind thinking about the qi. So the mind, that's called doing. Okay, you move the qi with your mind. So the doing is the moving of the qi of the mind. Is that clear? Okay. So this is excuse me. The doing here is very important. This very important concept in Buddhist teaching, in Buddhist spiritual practices. Okay, your spiritual practice should not involve doing at all. Is that clear? Okay, meaning that's a distinction between Hinayana versus Mahayana practices as well. Okay, doing here is to will with your mind. Okay, to use your mind to direct qi, for example, that's doing. Is that clear? Anyway, eventually you understand. So with these conditioned practices, okay, after a long time, these cultivation, these practices will eventually decay. It will not lead you anywhere at all. It will not bring you to liberation. What does not free you will eventually decay. All this is also will decay. Okay. And that's why when you practice Buddhist practices, whether you recite mantras, whether you recite sutras, whether you recite the Buddha's name, whether you meditate and let's say do a Kung An or a Hua Tou and so forth, those are eventually will bring you to a state of no mind. No mind means no thinking. You meditate in order to eventually learn to train yourself from producing thoughts. Okay, your mind produces thought naturally all day when you awake. So the time training, the meditation training, okay, is a special process where eventually you get to the point, you be trained to the point where your mind no longer produces thoughts. Okay, that is called without mind. Then comprehension is ultimate, meaning that you have ultimate wisdom. All right? Meaning ultimate here refers to your inherent wisdom, that you possess already, but you cannot utilize yet. You don't know how to use it yet. Okay? Yeah. And that's why at this state here, once you have wisdom, then in single thought, then you are consistent with the wisdom of the Buddhas. Yes. Black. Yes.
It's talking about no mind and no thought, and then it start saying in a single thought, one tallies with the family of the Buddha. So what is the single thought?
This single thought here, that's a good question. If you have no mind, how come there's still single thought?
This same thing, a couple months ago, there was a very similar discussion, I just remember.
We never really discussed it. Because I avoided the topic. Okay, I deliberately avoided discussing this topic because I didn't want to get in trouble. Because it's not time yet. Okay, here's what happens. Right now, your head is full of thoughts. Yes? Our heads are full of thoughts. We think. Okay, so Chan meditation, this training here, it's very special. It will bring you to the state where you actually can put an end to your thoughts. That's the first step. Okay? Very specialized Buddhist training. Only the Buddhists have the secret recipes, the secret process of how to do that. Okay? And it's proven to work for centuries, for everywhere. Okay? For all kinds of people. Okay? And beyond that, that's when you go a little bit further to the state what is called enlightenment. Okay, that is this without mind that we're talking about. So far, so good. This without mind here in the text, this is a state where you enlighten, you have true wisdom, you have no more mind. Okay, then that's why its comprehension is ultimate. That's the ultimate wisdom you can have. Once you get this state, okay, your wisdom the same as the Buddha's. Okay, so when you go to the Pure Land, okay, the Amitabha Buddha will teach you about this kind of wisdom. Okay, and then when you're in a state of no thought, then a single thought arises. That single thought is a different from your thought right now. Your thought right now is based on a confused mind. That's why it's called a false thought. But at that point, when you have no mind, and your single thought arises, that is called a true thought. So far, so good. That's the distinction. They're not the same. All right. Don't worry about it. You see, that's why I avoided the issue, because I explained to you, and then I look at you triumphantly and say, isn't it clever the way I explained it to you? And you say, would you mind repeating again, please, what you just said? It doesn't make any sense to me, you see? But anyway, it doesn't matter. This is about listening about things that you don't understand. It's called exposure. It's like you travel, you go to Europe, you go to Italy, for example. I love pasta. Anyone? Gelato? Anyone? Neapolitan pizza? Oh, that's culture right there. Okay? And so you go there and you may not understand how they make it. Okay? Because it takes years of training to bake this beautiful Neapolitan pie, let me tell you. It takes a long, long time, a lot of training before that happens. You know, just the way they need this dough it takes years to practice. The same thing. You go to Japan and learn how to make sushis. Actually, it takes like 10 years to learn from a great sushi chef. It takes time. Okay? So that's what happens. We don't understand how the sushi is made, how the Neapolitan pizza is created. Okay? But the mere fact we eat it and you enjoy it, we are being exposed to this culture here that eventually in the future, that in itself is giving you tremendous benefits already. Okay? All right? So that's what happens. When you listen to these things, you're being exposed to these wonderful wisdoms of the universe. Okay? And of course, you don't understand most of it, but the mere fact you're exposing yourself to something called Neapolitan pizza, the finest sushi made in the whole world, okay, or see how a creation of a work of art in that museum and so forth. You are exposing, you are creating you're receiving incredible exposure to the most wonderful, the most beautiful things in the world. Isn't it worth it? You don't need to create a work of art, but you should be looking at the work of arts. You should be enjoying the work of arts. This is what we're doing. We don't expect you to be able to understand this, but you need to be exposed to this so that one day you say, I heard of this before, and yes, I would like to be able to do this. Just like same thing, you exposed to this fresh pasta, And you say, and someday you say, oh, I want to make it on demand instead of having to, wait for the restaurant to open up because it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Everything is closed. I want to learn how to make this wonderful pasta so that I can share with my wonderful wife. Yes? So that's what this is about. Okay, so at least you know about this beautiful thing, you enjoy it, and then eventually you get a little bit step higher and say, now you create that thing. Okay? Or you refine it and perfect it even further. So what this is about you create exposure, and eventually this will be invaluable asset for you. Okay? In particular, these are wisdoms, and these are ancient wisdoms that are timeless, okay, from the sages. All right? So the commentary in slide in 340, the Vasha Sutra says, all conditioned dharmas are like dreams, illusions, bubbles, and shadows, like dew and like a lightning flash. Contemplate them thus. Okay? Meaning what? All conditioned dharmas. Conditioned dharma meaning anything that depends on anything else for its existence. Okay? For example, you have this table. Okay? It's here because it's created from wood. So therefore, this is not real. It didn't have what they call technical jargon, doesn't have a nature because it depends on something else. Okay? And therefore, it's a temporary thing. It's a conditioned thing. All right? So all conditions, anything that's conditional, that's conditioned, are but a dream. They're not real. They're illusions. They're bubbles. Bubbles are things that appear on the water surface in the morning, for example, on the edges of the pond. And when the sun rises, then the heat will pop those bubbles and they disappear. One moment here, next moment gone. Shadows, okay? Shadows are in itself not real because it depends on another object for its existence, okay? And the light. So when you move the light source differently, the shadow will go away. Okay? Like dew, morning dew on your car. Anyone? In California, we park our cars outside. Oh God. You try to wash your car and next day it gets dirty again because in the morning the dew collects in our cars and then the next the dust land on the dew, and it ruins our cleaning. Okay, very, very disheartening. That's why I don't wash my cars at all because I cannot afford a garage. Okay, what would people think if a monk has a garage, has a car first and then parks the car in the garage? That's luxury. Okay, lightning flash. Lightning flash only exists for very short duration, okay? And then it's gone. So life is but a dream, okay? Things that, worldly things that we value, okay, are illusions. They're not real. This is words of wisdom, okay? You may not believe it, it may be shocking to you, but this is words of wisdom that eventually, when you have your own profound wisdom, which you are capable of having, and again, it's because you don't know how to access it. Okay? What is that wisdom? Where is the wisdom? Where is the wisdom? The Buddhists keep on talking about that. I said, you have wisdom, you inherent wisdom, but you can't use it. Physically, it's like this. Let me explain it to you. Your wisdom is like in a penthouse. Okay? Tallest, the apartment in the tallest floor in the building. Okay, you're on the ground floor right now. Okay, and to have the wisdom is like you hop on an elevator and zip up to the penthouse level and open the penthouse and get in there. That's called access. So Chan is that process of helping you build this elevator that allows you to access higher and higher level wisdom. And the ultimate wisdom is that penthouse where you understand. All right? Questions? Okay. So when you get there, you see that all conditioned Dharma, meaning things in the world, anything you see out there is called a conditioned thing. It depends. Okay, the house depends on having a roof. Okay, on carpets, on pillars, on a craftsman to make it. Okay, on the architect to design it, on the inspector to approve it. Otherwise, you can't move in. Okay? So the house is by itself. You cannot call it a house, okay, to you, your house, until you have all those conditions clear, all those requirements met. So that's why the house is conditioned thing. It's a compound of other things, if you will. Yes? Okay? That's why when you think about it, life is a conditioned happening, isn't it? How do you live? Because you live because of your mother. It's all her fault. Isn't that right? And the father too. He didn't help. Never mind. You don't find it funny. Okay. Well, your psychologist really believes in that. Where's my thing? What happened to my cursor? Did you mess it up again? Never mind. Okay. How come you got here? Okay, wherever we were. How we backtrack? I cannot use this cursor. What's going on? Huh? What happened to it? It was 2 earlier. It was the middle. Now it's 3. What happened? Yes, ma'am. Where am I? Do I need to backtrack or what? So how do I backtrack on this thing? Keep on going.
Use the arrow keys to go back.
340, did you say? Yeah, that's fine. Arrow key works. I don't care. No, this is expensive. I sell it on the... so stressful. Where were we? So now it's my fault? What? You're not helping. Okay. So without mind, comprehension is ultimate. Okay? Comprehension here meaning that there's nothing you cannot understand. That's what's beautiful about it. Okay, in a single thought, the tallies of families with the Buddha, and these enlightened people, family of Buddhas are enlightened people. You cannot belong to the family of Buddhas unless you're enlightened. And the enlightened beings can produce this, what is called true thoughts, if you will. All right? 342, the Worthy Leader chapter says, in the presence of thus come ones, many as 10 kshetras, thus modes, one might attend upon them all for an entire kalpa.
陈述如来所，悉皆陈氏尽一解。
I'm sorry, folks. We have a lot of technical difficulties. We have a lot of equipment and a lot of people who are not trained at all. And we operate cheap. So sorry about that. Okay, bear with us. Give us about 10 years, we get up to speed. Okay, now, it's working again. Thank you, Lord. Commentary. The concept here, never mind about these details. I cut through the chase for you. I give you these important concepts here. This is so unique to the wisdom of this particular Buddhist teaching. I need to emphasize for you because it's not taught anywhere else. Okay? It says, the secret sauce, the secret of your success is what? Right here. You serve the Buddhas. It's the most beneficial, the most rewarding, the thing that will give you the best chances at accruing blessings. So what it means is that you help the Buddhas. Whatever the Buddha needs to be done, you assist the Buddhas. Whether it's washing his feet, okay, or washing his bowl, or mending his clothes, okay, or like the kings in the past, that when the Buddha wanted to speak Dharma, explain things to people, and he said, I do not speak Dharma standing. Okay? When Buddha speak Dharma, he never stand. Did you realize that? Anyone? Can you prove me wrong by showing me an instance where the Buddha actually spoke Dharma, spoke a sutra while standing? That's impossible. Okay? Well, don't even try. Okay? I don't have time to wait for you. So take my word for it. So the Buddha, when he spoke the sutras, he's always sitting on what he call a lion throne. Okay? A Dharma seat, if you will. Okay? So that's why when I speak Dharma, I cannot stand up. When I talk to you casually, yes, it's okay. But when we speak like formal things like this, we need to have a Dharma seat. Okay? And I sit down and cross my legs and speak to you. Okay? That's the process. So at one time, the Buddha decided to speak Dharma, to teach, give a sermon, if you will, for those of you who are not Buddhists. He wanted to give a sermon to his students, but there's no Dharma seat. So what to do? What happened is that a king, okay, a big king, a mighty king, who was his disciples, immediately got on his knees and did a plank. Anyone do planks? Oh, you Asians don't know anything, do you? Planks. Someone explained to them, what's a plank? Master Xianche, explain to us what's a plank. Demonstrate to us. You are the demonstrator in chief. Orange. Hey, video person, audio person, pay attention. What is it? We don't have batteries anymore? Okay, folks, wait a minute. We go buy some batteries right now. We'll be right back. Commercial break. Yes, go ahead.
It's a yoga pose, I believe.
Yoga pose?
Plank.
Which planet are you from? Anyone else? Help him out, please. Who knows what a plank is? Say what? No one knows what a plank is? Google it. That guy is cheating. He says, that's a plank. That's right there. Good Lord. This is called a plank. Are you ready to learn? And I want you to remember you learned from here first, okay? From Master YongHua's lecture. This is called a plank. Okay? Okay, Chung Yin Sunim, please demonstrate. What?
Jules Collins wants to demonstrate.
Go ahead, Conk. Malcolm, go ahead, Malcolm. Oh God, this is so distressing to me that even in America we don't even know what a plank is. Okay, look at that. That's a plank. Who's that? That's not Malcolm. It doesn't look like Malcolm. Hey, that's not a good plank. The plank has to be straight body. Very good. All right, good job. There you go. That's it. That's a plank right there. And it's very difficult to think. And there's wonderful things for your core. Am I right? Huh? Korean lady? Huh? It strengthens your core. If you're worried about, a belly fat. Anyone? I'm in Northern California now, okay? We Southern California people are much more better informed than this. Okay? I want you Koreans and Asians to realize that we're not all Californians like these people here at Gold Forest. Question from Jewel Kong.
This is Alex.
Yes.
This is Alex again. I have a question about the Vajra Sutra.
Oh no. Go ahead.
Because you just quoted a passage from Vajra Sutra.
Yeah, it's my fault now. Go ahead. Let me have it.
You said everything is ephemeral and temporary in the phrase, and I thought that the reason why everything is ephemeral and temporary is that we have this confusion over languages who define the realities.
It's not confusion over languages. You're wrong.
My point is, at the end of the day, we are, if we can be stripped of all this confusion of the languages or the marks related to smell and our vision and our hearing and everything else, then we can be elevated to the status of pure consciousness, even without the body.
No, you're wrong. It's not like
Am
that.
I wrong?
It's not like that. You read it from somewhere, but you don't understand. You better not read from that source again, because it's nonsense.
Okay.
It's not like that. Okay, that's what happens to people like you who are bookworms, who read a lot, like to read a lot of things. And, you know, you read that from that source, and you go to a different source from the same author. Let's say you read, for example, more specifically, the Buddha, when he explains the Buddhism in the Agama period, okay, he talked about you should trust your mind. If it doesn't make sense to you, it's illogical to you, you should stop and back out. Because that's not, if you don't agree with it intellectually, your mind disagree with it, then you should back out. Don't proceed. Okay? And that's in the Agama period that he designs that teaching for the people who are very smart. You know who I'm talking about? The people who can figure things out on their own. Okay? And therefore, things in the world have to be logical to them. So that's why the Buddha spoke the same language to these people. He says, if it doesn't make sense to you, then it's okay. I have no problem. You back out and say, no, Buddhism is not for me. Okay? All right. So he said, but if what I tell you makes sense to you, okay, then I will show you a way that if you practice meditation and you don't worry about logic anymore, but you, let's say, you sit there, you meditate, instead of listening to music of the sound waves of the sound, the waves of the ocean rushing to shore, don't do that, okay? When you meditate, I want you to think about what happens to your body when, after you're dead. Okay, so it's called contemplation of the 9 impurities. Okay, very famous meditation practice for Hinayana. So they sit there and they contemplate. After you die, I don't know exactly because I never practiced those Hinayana practices. So please forgive me if I'm a little bit off, okay? But I'm giving you basically after you die, after a few days, the body swells because you have these germs inside your body. So your face becomes like a balloon. Okay? And then after a while, and then the balloon is pierced, so the thing oozes out. Okay? So the Buddha described very clearly those 9 phases. Okay? And if you're interested, I'd be glad to give you the exact contemplation for your reference. Okay? It's very easily found. Okay? Personally, I don't have time to look into those not Mahayana practices. That's why I profess ignorance. Okay, so you see, the Buddha is so clever. Instead of telling them that, if I tell you the body is going to swallow after that, do you agree? So he tries to make them stop thinking and just follow the contemplation. And when you do that, eventually with that ingenious process of contemplating how the body decays, eventually you have a worm coming out, a hole appears in your body and the head of a worm pops up, look at you, like in the movies, and it goes back into the body again. Okay, that's your body. Okay, your body right now has a lot of worms, but very small. But after you die, they would feed on your body, and they become fatter and bigger. Okay, and that's how they eventually come out. You have them right now. Okay, so by doing these contemplations, you'll be able to stop thinking. I submit to you, it is so ingenious way of doing it. Okay? But at first, the Buddha got those people interested by saying, I speak the same language as you. You can trust me. Okay? I speak from a logical perspective. We agree on that. Now let me show you another way of meditation where I don't want you to think about logic anymore. Just follow what happens with your body. And magic happens. Because he doesn't have to explain to them, to these logical people, these smart people, the intellectuals, that the more you think, okay, what happens? Anyone? What happens when you think a lot? Huh? One Texinim, what happens when you think a lot? Give me a microphone. What happens when you think a lot? Green. What happens?
Headache, and then
Headache.
I want to stop my thinking.
You stop what?
I want to stop my thinking.
Stop your thinking. How about you? I don't know what you do, forgot what you do, but what about you? What happens when you think? The one in green. Yeah, give the green one back there and then give the green one in front first. What happens when you think?
You get tired very quickly.
Okay, fine. Give it back to the young man. The more sensible one, who also thinks like crazy. Huh? What happens? Did your wife yell at you?
Yeah, yes, Master here.
Liar.
It's
a trick question. She said, yes, Master, is anything that whatever I tell him. Yes, Master, yes, Master. Okay, anyone else? What happened when you think? Wei Mount. Okay. Andreas' fault. Is he there?
Master, you lose hair and become a monk.
No comment. Is Andres there? Andres' father is a lawyer. A successful lawyer, by the way. And lawyers, what do lawyers do? Think. And what happens when lawyers think? Do you know? Anyone? Come on, you Koreans are so boring. You don't know anything. Oh my God. Wei Mount, go ahead.
Your hair.
You what?
You lose your hair.
You lose your hair. Let's not get personal. I don't like that answer. Yes, go ahead, Green.
Yes, Master, you get confusing.
Did you lose hair?
Almost gone.
Almost gone. And the wife said, oh, but he's still cute. God. Okay.
And the hair will turning white.
And the hair turning white. Okay. No, that's from worries. It's not from thinking. It's worries that turns it white. Okay. Let me tell you. Can I tell you a secret? The more you think, the more your sexual desire increases. You didn't know that? Oops, I should have told you. Why you have so much sexual desire? Too much thinking. The people who work a lot using the brains, I'm not looking at anyone in particular, okay? They have these uncontrollable urges. True or not? Don't say anything, just go like this and I can tell. This is between us only. Okay? Is it true or not? Come on. Jumi. Yes? You agree or not? Too much thinking, too much sexual desire. Okay? And that's, no, I know we're having fun about this, but you know, I want you to go and watch yourself. The more you think, you're more prone you have to have sexual desires. And that's what happens. Okay? So that's why intellectuals, for example, especially those people who, like professors and so forth, they have a lot of problems because they think too much. Okay? Now I just offended the professors, your professors. But the good news is that with meditation, Chan meditation, okay, it will suppress and kill the sexual desire. The reason we know these things because we tell you about it, we know that's what happens, whether you admit it or not, okay? We know that's what happens, and that's why when you meditate, when you have sexual desires, you meditate, you do these different forms of meditation practices, then sexual desires decreases naturally. That's all. And that's the secret. The secret sauce is that you stop thinking about it and you meditate, you do meditational practices. Bowing, reciting sutras, reciting Buddha's name, doesn't matter. Any of those type of spiritual practices will reduce sexual desire. I mean, you sit there and keep on thinking about it, it gets worse and worse and worse. Agree or disagree? I speak from experience. I mean, past experience. Look now, the Koreans are laughing. They can't control themselves anymore. Look at that. Look at Jewel Kong. Look at that. All four of them. See, even, oh God, all four of them are laughing at me. Can we switch to Jewel Kong? Look at them. Look at that. All the girls are laughing. Only Malcolm is being loyal to me. Oh God. Okay, never mind. Can we reset? Okay. So, how do we get into sexual desire again? So the Buddha is so clever. So he taught the Hinayana people in a very clever way to appeal to them first. But actually, in Mahayana, we don't need to rely on our thinking mind, our logic. What we do is the better ones will serve the Buddhas. That is what the Mahasattvas, the great Bodhisattvas, do. They serve the Buddhas. They don't go and build temples. They don't go and have disciples. They don't go and become famous and make money. Okay? They serve the Buddhas. It's fascinating. It's only in this sutra, this Avatamsaka Sutra, where you find this Dharma door. Nowhere else. This form of practice is only taught here in the sutra. So you heard of it. Now you heard of it, you can go home. You don't need to study any further. All you have to do is go serve the Buddhas. That's all. Okay? Yeah, goodbye. Okay, I hear you. Okay, goodbye. We'll see you next lifetime. And we stop the prologue. This is too hard. I look at you and say, what are you doing here? Go play, go on your date. Questions? Okay? See, so not only do you serve Buddhas, he says here in this particular sutra, in this Worthy Leader chapter, he says that not only one sutra, one Buddha, but infinitely many Buddhas. So you keep on serving Buddhas after Buddhas after Buddhas after Buddhas. That's it. And that's what superior people do. Yes. Black.
I guess this begs the question, like, what are the actions that serve the Buddha? For like,
what do they do? Speak
well,
English.
So, like, I mean, for little ones like us, like it's not like a Buddhas are right here with us. What do we do? There's no plank to do.
You mean like, how do we serve the Buddhas? Is that okay to paraphrase your question again? How do we serve the Buddhas, right?
Yeah. Wow. My question had more
on
context.
is the answer. It's just like you say, your boy says, how do I help you, Mom? He can't.
I think he can help me for a lot of things.
He can help you so much, and that's about it.
So this is not for us. I see.
This is for the Mahasattvas.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry. You think it's for you? Oh, such a greedy people. Losers. And you say, "Oh, I'm so happy today. I can go home and serve the Buddhas." Dream on, man. Only in America these people are so unreasonable. So what do you do when you can't serve the Buddhas? Good question. That's the next question. If I can't serve the Buddhas, what do I do? What do you do? I must tell you everything, don't I? Go ahead, Wei Mountain. What's the next best thing? Oh, Hong.
We serve Master YongHua.
Let me paraphrase him, because the Koreans would get it wrong. It's not that far off, but you serve those who serve the Buddhas. If that's still not your level, you serve those who serve those who serve those who serve those who serve the Buddhas. Got that? Because you're not qualified. You don't have the tools to serve the Buddhas directly. So what do? Okay? You help those people who are serving them. Because what the blessings they generate are so many, so tremendous, that you got a share of that. Instead of helping, another person. Question from Jewel Kong.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. How is
Master,
lunch?
to serve people at the temple, is that part of serving the Buddha too?
I'm sorry?
The people come to temple to serve them. Is that a part of serving the Buddha or Master?
No, it's serving the customers. Where have you been? Just because you shave your head, now you don't look at them as customers anymore? Oh, good Lord. I must tell them everything. Have you noticed something? Like, how come there's so many people at Conk? What's wrong with these people? They don't have a life or something? Huh?
Hello, Master. We have a very good transportation system.
But how come Master Z and you are the same place? And when you are deserting our people at Jew Mountain, what happened?
We celebrate Medicine Buddha's birthday twice.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I have asked too many questions. Okay. So that's what happens. So you look at people like Master Shenhua, for example. He served Shakyamuni Buddha's Dharma. Okay, he's propagating the Buddha's teaching. He's teaching the Buddha's Chan meditation and so forth. Okay, so when he was alive, his disciples helped him, and that's how they, by helping Master Shenhua, many of them became enlightened. You see that? And after he died, none of them got enlightened anymore. Okay? Because after he died, then the second patriarch became the in charge. Okay? So it's not correct, by the way, to say that you may now make offerings to Master Shenhua. It doesn't work like that. Now you're making whatever you give to that organization goes to the second patriarch. Okay, so you cannot dream on and say, I'm bring flowers here to offer to his temple, and therefore I'm offering to him. No, not directly, not anymore. So you missed the boat. Sorry. Okay, that's just tough luck. How do we get here again? Okay, let's move on. Okay, 344. But if one can recite and hold this chapter, the blessings from that far exceeds the former, and so forth.
若于此品能诵持，其福最胜过于彼等。
Okay, so the wisdom here contained in this sutra, okay, is so incredible that you just recite, and hold here means that, what does hold mean? You hold in here, meaning what? It's not holding here in your arm. Okay? Okay, you hold here in your head, meaning memorize it. Okay? The blessings from that far exceed the former. Okay? For example, it's funny, I was meditating last night. Funny. Smile, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. I was meditating, and I said, wow, a thought, an experience came back. I remember when I first started to practice Chan under Master Shenhua, like this gentleman here who's learning Chan from us, okay? And this monk here, Master Heng De, one of his Malaysian disciples, taught me meditation, and I quickly, within 1 month or two, he taught me his technique. Within 1 month or two, he said, no, this is not working for me. I ignored it completely. But he did teach me something that he says, why don't you memorize the Shrangma mantra? I said, say what? You know how long that thing is? 554 lines of unintelligible, completely illogical words. Okay? But I was stupid enough to memorize it. Can you imagine? Okay? Not something to gloat about. So it took me about 5 weeks to memorize 554 lines of Shrangama mantra. 5 weeks, which is pretty fast. Ching! Okay? That's very fast. I challenge you. See how fast you can learn it. Okay. And again, I like to tell this story because it only took me 5 weeks to learn the Shrangama mantra, and then I went on. I've learned that first, memorized that first, and then went on to memorize the Great Compassion mantra. Okay, 84 lines. Took me 2 weeks. And now I realize I have no compassion whatsoever because you need to have compassion in order to memorize the Great Compassion mantra, by the way. You have compassion, you memorize without any problem. You have no compassion, like me, you struggle. You really struggle. I really force it, okay? Anyway, it's a side comment. Okay, so anyway, after I memorized the Shrangama mantra, for 5 weeks, took me 5 weeks to memorize. Every day I learned 10 lines in the morning, 10 more lines in the afternoon, review it, and next day, review everything, move on, next 10 lines, next 10 lines. So I could do that in 5 weeks. Towards the end, the first part of the mantra is very difficult to memorize. Once you go to the second and third and fourth, it's very easy because it's repetitive. Okay? Anyway, after I memorized Shrangama mantra, guess what happened? I couldn't eat meat anymore. I stopped by Burger King, bought a Whopper, and it tasted so bitter. I couldn't even finish it. And I realized now I couldn't eat meat anymore since that day. Every time I bite into a piece of meat, it tastes bitter. That's it. I still remember all the flavor of that succulent steak, and you still salivate thinking about that, but as soon as you put it in your mouth, it's bitter. So I'm forbidden from eating meat. Okay? So in our world, you may find it funny, and maybe not find it funny. In our world, it's a blessing because when you eat meat, it's not good for you for all the reasons in the world. And then you create and killing karmas and so forth. So actually, by memorizing that mantra, good things happen to me personally. Now I look back. Same thing here. He says, if you recite this chapter, whatever that chapter is mentioned, actually any chapter as a matter of fact, okay? And you memorize that chapter, your blessings are incredible, inconceivable. So you memorize it and you recite it every day, you will become enlightened before we do. So Master Shenhua, for example, his disciples, he allowed them to go into seclusion to memorize the Flower Adornment Sutra, the whole sutra. Can you imagine? They memorized the entire sutra. I don't think many could memorize it, but those who could memorize even one chapter, it's incredible blessings. It rewires you. It's like you load that program into your computer, your laptop, and the program is like, I am Buddha, I am Bodhisattva, I'm a good person, I know how to make money, how to, do the great things only. I don't do bad things anymore. That program, that's what it does. Incredible? Yes? It's true. All right? It has its own magic. Moving on. Wait, am I supposed to finish in what time? 10. Oh, thank you. Please stop me. Sometimes I get carried away in my stories. 346. Furthermore, this benefit individually pairs with the previous 9, making up 10 benefits.
又此利益，别对前9成10种益。
Okay, he's talking about there's a lot of benefits, and they pair up, and they pair up, and they pair up, and they combine. Sangbok, how many combinations are there in these 9 things that pair up? She said, I don't know. She has a doctorate in statistics. Is your degree for real? So there are the 9 causes. Number 1, I have to remind you because no one remembers. The Dharma is that way. That's how it works. Because of the things that happened in the past, now the Buddha speaks this sutra. Number 3, he speaks this sutra because you have so much potential that it will help you become enlightened quicker. Okay. Number 4, it's the base of all the Buddhist teaching. All the other teachings originate from this Flower Dormant Sutra. Okay. Display virtues of fruit, so displays about the virtues of these various fruitions, whether it's Buddha fruition or eco-enlightenment fruition or 10th ground bodhisattva fruition and so forth. Okay, so this sutra here explains to you. Those are description of your status, your wealth. Okay. This is fascinating, very, very, very fascinating. Discuss positions, okay, positions and virtues, okay, and those are in combination. 7, to speak of the supreme conduct. All this happened because they did the right things, okay? They did not waste time. So when you know what's the best thing possible you can do with your time, okay, would you still go do anything else? No. Okay. And 8, in order to set forth the true Dharma, so he's established what is the true. Okay. And number 9, to reveal the why this happened as part of your wisdom. Okay. Okay. So all these pairs up as well. 348. 1, hearing that the Dharma is that way, one knows that it is constant and pervasive and accomplishes the benefit of seeing and hearing.
1,闻法耳，则知长篇，呈现文义。
Okay, so 349, commentary. The first benefit, these they combine together, they create 10 more benefits. Master Qingyang is very, very scholarly. He's very thorough. Okay. He can dissect and analyze this to death, but it's worth getting into this because it's advanced wisdom. How come there's so many Koreans here? What happened to us Americans? It's like I'm lecturing for the Koreans only. Except for, thank God that Malcolm is there. What is it with Americans? When they want to learn about great wisdom, they all skip town. And the Korean move in. We might as well move to Korea, huh? Boys and girls. How about I just go to Korea and lecture on the sutra alone? Huh? And Malcolm says, then I'm staying here. All right. 349. He says, the Dharma is like that. There's no but and if. It is just the way it is. Okay? And this is the truth. That is Never change, constant, never changes in time, okay? Okay? And whether it's your father's time, your mother's time, your grandfather's time, it's still the same truth, only one truth. That's timeless. That's why it's constant and pervasive. Pervasive meaning everywhere you look, it's true. Okay? And accomplish the benefit of seeing and hearing. So you need to see and hear the Dharma, and that creates tremendous benefits for you. That's what we're doing right now. Okay? We cannot let the Korean become enlightened before we. Can we? It would be so embarrassing. We lecture on this sutra and they become enlightened before we do. Huh? So we give them only half a lecture. How's that? Master Ji, okay, you slow down, okay. You give them half a lecture every week. That's all. So that we are twice as fast as they are, and see if it helps. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12 people, and 16 people, and you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, no, give only 1/3. Yeah. Okay. 350. 2, hearing of original conduct and vows, one studies the Buddha and makes the resolve and accomplishes the benefit of bringing forth the resolve.
2,闻本行愿，学佛发心，诚发心意。
All right. First, you need to see and hear. Okay? You need to hear about this sutra. You need to hear about these profound principles. Okay? And you need to see. See what? See anything about the sutra. You guys are so... I don't know why I bother, See and hear, meaning that this is referring to your sense organs. Whether you see, you hear, you taste it, you smell it, okay? It's all those sensory organs that pertain to the sutra. You see the slides. You hear the sound. Okay? So far, so good? You see the text, the sutra text. All right? And you hear the sutra being recited. All right? So 2, that's the first benefit. So it's very important for you to understand there's a progression here. First, you need to hear and see. That's why we're making, even you, for example, Koreans or Vietnamese and so forth, you translate this into your own languages and you spread it, make it available. That is, you're creating the benefits of seeing and hearing to your countrymen. Is that clear? So when we translate this into, let's say, another language, let's say Espanol, okay, Spanish, then we're creating the seeing and hearing benefit for those speakers of those languages. You're helping right now, creating a seeing and hearing for the internet people. Okay? You're creating tremendous blessings. And the blessings here will help those people who go to the Pure Land. Why do you think we're doing this? Because it's so helpful to these people. So instead of, so on Friday nights here in the United States, we sacrifice our time until 10 p.m. so that we do and seeing and hearing all these things so that we can create blessing for them, and after that we can do anything we want. Go see a movie, go play and whatever, and we feel very good. All right? 2, when you hear of how these great beings behave and their aspirations, there are, commentary. Conduct is what they do. This is so important, folks. You hear about the principles. You see the principles of these sutras. That's fine. But you actually see a live person, okay, who got there by practicing certain things, by behaving a certain way. That's called conduct. Conduct. Okay. Oh, I'm afraid to use this mouse now because it jumped around again. How can I concentrate on this important stuff? But anyway, it's not. It's I don't understand much, so it doesn't matter. Okay. Conduct here is how they behave, what they do. What do, here, I don't know about Korea, but here, people bid on eBay for lunch with Warren Buffett. Did you know that? I bid $5, never made any, because all I wanted to have lunch with Mr. Buffett. Can you show me how to make $10 million? I need to buy a church. So no chance, you see? So these people, they know what to do. That's conduct. And vows. Vows is that they have, vows here refers to their vision of the future. Vow is that this is what I will do in the future. Now, I'm doing now, okay? I'm sitting here with you right now, but in the future, I will move to Korea and explain to the real Koreans. Okay, that's a vision. That's a vow, you understand? Vows are basically visions. Does it make sense now? So they're doing now, but they also have this vision, the big picture of what it's about. You understand? Now, conduct is now. That's all they can do right now. But they're preparing to do bigger things with these vows. Is it clear? This is how these beings behave. Okay? And that's why when you hear of these great beings, conduct and vows, okay, that's when you have lunch with Mr. Buffett. In other words, you would study how to make money, finance, and so forth, and make the result become a financier. And after you become a financier, make a lot of money like him, then you resolve to give it all away, so you end up with nothing again. Just kidding. Yeah. So, because you see these great beings have such a beautiful, such inspirational behavior. That's a conduct. And then they have this vision of the future of all EVs and all, I don't like EVs, by the way. I feel that electrical vehicles is a mistake of the world, okay? But I don't know, no one believes me for some reason. Even my disciples buy into Tesla stocks and made a lot of money. And then he gave me $5. I have to show gratitude. I can't criticize Elon because I'm benefiting from his EV thing. Okay, so the point here is that they have these visions. Okay, and because of that, these beings, these superior beings, have this vision of the future of what nirvana is like, or perfection is like, or Valhalla is like, wherever your thing is, whatever your beliefs is. You see that you want to study the Buddha and make the result to be just like him. That's Buddhism, by the way. The highest level of attainment is become a Buddha, okay? And therefore, you make the result that that's my goal. Anything less would not be worthy of me. And you accomplish the benefit of bringing forth the result. If you resolve to become a Buddha, you are a Buddha to be. All right? So that's very beneficial. Number 3. Do we have time to finish? No, it's time is up. Sorry. Next time we do look at the third benefit. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Okay. Now let's transfer the merit and virtue to help those beings go to the Pure Land. Okay.